This Pac-12 college football preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted parlays to in-game odds on every major sport, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today to receive a $500 risk-free sports bet. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit and receive up to $500 in bonus cash. That's PropSwap.com, promo code SGP. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com with promo code SGPN and receive a free $25 entry to use in Best Ball Mania 2 for a chance to win $1 million. And of course, don't forget to download the SGPN app in the App Store or Google Play Store. Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer Dog?
How about the look on this side of the table? Representation from the North. Bring on our guest, Sean, please.
Joining us in studio as we talk college football, Colby Dant, aka the Dant base. What's up, Colby?
They finally got a commissioner, guys. They finally got a commissioner.
Talking Pac-12, Colby's got a gold throwback Colorado Buffs jersey on. Almost looks like kind of a dress because of the way the shoulder
game worn.
The jersey needs to have shoulder pads in them because they're almost puffy like a big ball gown.
Shannon Clavel played some for the Green Bay Packers as well, I believe. No, actually, I think Buffalo Bills.
And we should probably start with that, right? New commissioner, guy tied near and dear to our heart, coming from the gambling scene. So shout out to the Pac-12.
Shout out.
They see what's happening, right? They see where the future is going. I don't want to be the hot take machine here.
George Klavikoff, did I pronounce that correctly?
Kliavkoff.
George Kavanaugh.
Do we see was this move so the Pac-12 can survive the next wave of realignment and align themselves closely with the sports gambling industry?
Pac-12 brought to you by WynnBET.
Anyone would have been better than Larry Scott. They could have.
Larry Scott was really bad.
Yeah.
Will we be able to get the Pac-12 network now in our office? That's really what I care about.
It's tough because
I feel like it's mostly Spectrum's fault, but I feel like Pac-12 deserves some of the blame.
He just started in July. We're asking.
We have
a tall
money.
order. Yeah,
we have money. I'd like to give you my money to watch your channel.
Your product.
Can we do that?
This is where you just got to go straight. Just let me stream it on WynnBET or whatever wherever that's going to be. Just don't be stupid.
That's what Barstool and MLB are doing. Maybe we can talk to the WynnBET guys about getting Pac-12 as the exclusive. Pac-12 needs an awesome song like this. Hey, we're talking college football. We're talking sports gambling. You know what that means? You combine two of those, you got one destination. WynnBET. That's right. WYNNBET. If you want a WINBIG, that's right. WynnBET. You got you covered, man. In-game wagering, win totals on the Pac-12. Oh yeah, all sorts. You think Oregon's gonna win the National Football Championship? I don't know if it's called that. College Football Championship, the College Football Playoff. Whatever it is, any kind of football that you want to wager on. And of course you want to wager on football. That's why you're listening to this goddamn show. Head over to wynnbet.com, WYNNBET. $500 risk-free sports bet. That's right. $500 for a risk-free sports bet. They got you covered over at WynnBET, WYNNBET.com. LFG. We're talking college football. Pac-12 going to start in the South, work our way up to the North.
Again, bottom to top.
Bottom to top.
That's the way Sean likes to do it.
That's the way we like to pick. Arizona, the Arizona Wildcats sitting at 2.5 on the win total, -125 on the over, plus 105 on the under. 40-1 to win the division, 80-1 to win the conference. Somehow they have a bet on them to win the college football playoff at 500-1.
Which, by the way, Vanderbilt was 1,000-1. Let's just put that out there.
Here's what we got going with Arizona, -14 on the turnover differential. They've lost 12 in a row. If I'm looking at this straight,
it's not good.
Not a very good time in Arizona. Colby, break us down. Arizona, do they have a chance to hit 3? 3 is a pretty low number.
Yeah, I like their over here. I think Jedd Fisch coming in, interesting hire. I think no one was high on that hire.
No, that's not a good thing.
But I think he got Don Brown to come in from Michigan. I do believe Don Brown is a really good defensive coordinator. He hired Chuck Cecil, someone familiar with the Arizona program.
Yep.
They've gone back to their uniforms from the Desert Swarm days when they were a top 10 team, and they brought in a lot of they've really soaked up a lot of that culture.
Can I say?
Yeah.
I love everything he's doing for all the same things you're saying, right? He's leaning into like changing everything because they've been horrible. That's just going to take some time. And I want to crowbar this in. I'll let you get back to it because I'm a little worried at the priority he's putting on improving the fan section. Saw a quote out there. My plan for the Zona Zoo is to do everything I'm humanly allowed to do to make it the greatest experience for our students. Now he did go out and hire Rob Gronkowski. That's probably a positive when you're looking for a good party.
Gronk.
I don't know if that's a good way to win games right away this year. And the last thing I'll say is Teddy Bruschi, all-time piece of shit in my book. Brought him back to the program. That's a big red flag for me.
Why is he an all-time piece of shit?
I'll nenever forget him and Junior Seau hugging on the sideline right before Eli drove down the field and tore their fucking hearts out. He's come. Yeah, he just
Teddy Bruschi.
Dog.
He's a dog.
I just think in general though,
quarterback. Is it look like Jordan McLeod, South Florida kid?
That's an interesting. I think the camp's got to play that out, man. I think they have a lot of question marks at the quarterback spot, but overall, I think this team is better than what we like. I think we all saw last year after they gave up to Arizona State. They lost 70-7. But if you go back and do your homework,
the Fade Sumlin era was great.
If you go back and do your homework on that, like USC needed a deflected pass caught on 4th down to beat them. The Colorado game was closer than the score indicated. We had like a pick 6 late. I don't think they're as bad as what we think they are. I think the team's got talent. That running back's a stud. I think they're just a decent. Yes, they're going to be bad, but not that bad. You know what I mean?
And I think if they're going to do it, they got to get some wins early because they start off 3 home games. Now, granted, it is BYU, San Diego State, but Northern Arizona, you got to get that win. They got UCLA at home. They have Washington at home. I mean, they end pretty tough at Washington State, at Arizona State. And Utah at home. I don't know. I feel like they got to win a couple early.
I think there's a decent shot they go 3-0.
What?
Yeah, I think there's a decent shot. BYU lost the most.
They're a 12-point dog to BYU.
But BYU
I like where your head's
lost
at.
the most production out of any team in the nation. Yes, do they reload better because everyone's 28 years old at BYU? Sure, but
no. But I mean, even if they go 2-1, probably a little bit more realistic because BYU is coming in as such a heavy favorite. But if you can get to 2-1, this Arizona team can squeeze out one more win, right?
Yeah, I mean that Cal game, maybe. I mean, it is a tough schedule. Maybe the one in Pullman.
Their schedule is. I mean, we're going to talk about a couple teams. I think we're going to notice the Pac-12 has some tough schedules. Maybe the extra conference game. Maybe some of the non-conference scheduling.
They're always aggressive at a conference.
But it's straight up like once you get through those 3 games that you said maybe they can go 3-0 and get you over the total right there. After that, it's really hard to find a win. It's really hard to find a guarantee. Like where are they going to be favored?
I don't think they're going to be favored. I think they're going to have to pull an upset. But I think they can. I think they can win one game elsewhere and potentially win 4 games or 3 games.
Yeah, I'm.
It's
I
just
like
hard to
what
take
this,
an under 2.5.
I like with this. I like the angle that Jedd Fisch is going, but when no one's excited about a hire, and to your point, they might have some talent. I'm certainly not going to bet on it. I don't see where they win a game in the conference.
I think they're gonna win one game in the conference.
Give me the under.
They're gonna win one.
Wait till Gronk hears about this. I'm telling him, Ryan.
But like, if you're focusing on hiring Gronk and Teddy Bruschi, you're not focusing on winning football games yet.
Well, I
get it. You got to put the concrete
you're
in.
Focusing on winning recruiting, and I do think.
Yeah, you put the concrete in the foundation first. That's great. It's not going to win you games year one. That's all. I'm saying.
Yeah, and I guess my point is you can lay the foundation and still win 3 games.
They brought in a lot of good transfers.
I agree.
Man. Like I just think Don Brown's too good of a defensive coach. They're going to be in some games. They're going to be in some games that you're not thinking. Give me Arizona on the over.
Colorado, okay. Colby, your Buffs 4.5 is the win total. Over -105, under -115. 16-1 to win the division. 35-1 to win the conference. 250-1 to win it all. Colorado did have -3.5 on the net close losses. They fit my model of a second year head coach. Colby, I know you're a fan, but what was that noise, Ryan?
That was the nerd. We're gonna have to isolate that and make that. That was the sound of a nerd.
Very odd nerd sound. All right, now I think Colorado okay. I don't think they're gonna be amazing, but this win total 4.5. It's right in the middle zone there for me. Where are you at with Colorado, Colby?
Brutal schedule. Top 10 hardest schedule to me.
Colby, how they going to Eugene again?
Yeah.
3 straight times they got to go to Oregon. How do they not?
And they give them that on the back-to-back.
How do you not balance that out?
Bullshit. And 11 Power 5s, completely crazy. But overall, Carl Jarrell really exceeded my expectations from a season ago. Now, yes, our quarterback Sam Neuer transferred to Oregon State. That was because he was injured. So he didn't get spring ball. And during spring ball, our young quarterbacks, the one that played in that Texas game, Brandon Lewis, looked really good. And then JT Shroud, the Tennessee transfer. So he's electing to go with the youth now, which makes sense. He's pretty much in year 1.5, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But I still think this team is talented. The offensive line is good. Jarek Broussard was a great running back in the Pac-12 a season ago, and I love our receiving core, even with KD Nixon gone. You got Jerry Rice's son. He's a stud. Brendan Rice, Dimitri Stanley. Like they have really good players at the wideout spot. It really matters. This quarterback spot is are they going to be good enough to get the ball downfield? So we're not a one-dimensional team, but. I'm gonna say this. This is big time. Yes, man. Colorado's my Buffs, man. Come on, they're gonna hit the over, man. But we're gonna upset some teams.
Got a lot of confidence.
Little nugget. First of all, actually, the continent of North America, home to 0 buffalo, plenty of bison.
Not here, buddy. Not here. All right.
It says buffaloes on the jersey.
Little confused. I think you have to maybe mark them down for a couple of those wins last year. They did catch a really fucking destroyed Stanford team. And remember UCLA, what was that? NFL week 1, maybe they played at like 8:30 in the morning.
That was weird. Yeah. It was on a Sunday.
No, not that. They didn't play UCLA on a Sunday. It was Cal that played them on a Sunday.
You're right.
Colorado played them on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I watched it. Colorado was up like 28 points and UCLA came back and made it a game.
Okay. Maybe I'm mistaken. Last thing I'll say is week 1, Northern Colorado. Is that an easy win versus Michigan transfer? Dylan McCaffrey, son of Easy Ed McCaffrey,
who's the head coach at Northern Colorado.
Father of Christian McCaffrey, who Sean has said will get hurt this year due to the field turf changes in Carolina.
It's unfortunate.
Back to the Pac-12 again. I think. I don't know how good this Colorado team is, and again, when you come to the schedule. It's very hard now with Arizona. It was hard to find 3 wins. I'm much more inclined to take that one because of how low it was. Still going under, but Colorado to find 5 wins on this schedule. Colby, I know you love the team. I know you said
but I think they're. I think they're better than what most realize though. I think
Arizona State.
Yeah, we won
at Oregon. At UCLA, at Utah, they got Texas A&M in Denver.
Beat Arizona State the last time we went to Tempe.
They have row the boat. Minnesota coming to town.
That's a winnable game. There's just Washington. The last time they came to Boulder, took an L. You know what I mean? Like I think you're forgetting that home field advantage too.
Well, and I'll say this, Kramer, because normally in the NFL season we like to take the Denver Broncos first 2 weeks of the season in September because players' conditioning isn't completely up to par. Now we don't have that. Denver opens with 2 road games. However, the Colorado Buffs first 6 games, 5 are at home. Now I know it's not completely the same, and certainly Northern Colorado is going to be used to the elevation week 1, but Texas A&M, Minnesota week 2, week 3,
Texas A&M,
USC,
a little bit of an athlete difference.
Yeah, no, I'm
the
just
oxygen
saying,
levels might be equal.
I'm saying I think the early schedule, 5 out of 6 at home, and going to Arizona State, which obviously dealing with a ton of issues, with their coaching program. I think that start can get them 3 wins, maybe 4. And I think that's all they need, because the back half is brutal, but I could see them starting out hot enough. I
think best case they're going into the bye 2-3. Best case.
I like the defensive coordinator hire, Chris Wilson. He was there with Gary Barnett back in the early 2000s. I think that's going to be a difference maker. The only real glaring weakness is the secondary to me. That's the scary part. But look, the last time an SEC team came to
the right team to catch.
Boulder, it was Georgia, and they took a loss. But this is in Denver. So who knows? It's not as good as
Vesco Field at
they
Mile
should just
High.
play this in Boulder. I hate this game, but yeah, give me Colorado on the over, man.
Let's go.
You guys are fucking boners over here.
UCLA win total sitting at 7, -115 on the over, -105 on the under. 6-1 to win the division, 12-1 to win the conference, 100-1 to win it all. UCLA also, really 4 net close losses, lost a bunch of games they should have won. Now maybe that regresses, or maybe that's just how Chip Kelly does things. 20 returning starters, and according to Colby, you returned the most production out of any Power 5 conference. I know you have been banging the Bruins bongo here.
Bongo. Huh?
Yes, I mean, look,
where are you at with them?
Well, their schedule, once again, like a top 10 hardest schedule because they're crazy. But I like what Chip Kelly has going. I think the offensive line is the best it's been in a long time. A long time. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson. This is a guy. You look at all their losses last year, guys. They were all 6 points or less. Dorian Thompson-Robinson missed that Oregon game where they would have won if he had played. And they had some COVID issues. They had Sunday games. I think they were better than what their representation was a season ago. And you look out the gate, they get Hawaii week 0. That's an advantage to play a game and then take on LSU.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously if you're playing Hawaii, not to have to travel all the way out there, and you get those again. I like these teams with the 3 home games back to back to back to get things going. And again, Chip Kelly, his quirkiness, his weirdness of not looking people in the eye, his nutrition program, everything that comes with the chip wagon. It works
in college though.
It works in college because you can, mind control these young athletes, but it takes a couple years for them to fully swallow the chip Kool-Aid or chip smoothie. So I'm with you. I'm going over here.
The schedule is brutal
at 7, especially. I mean, if it was 7.5, I might think twice, but this team feels 8-5, or sorry, 8-4. So, worst case, I feel like is 8 and or 7-5.
The schedule is brutal because the 2 worst teams in the North traditionally are Oregon State and Washington State. Yeah. They miss them.
They get Washington and Oregon. That's not tough. That's not
Washington,
easy.
Oregon, and Cal, and Stanford, probably the 4 best teams in the North. But
Thompson Robinson 60-1 to win the Heisman. Is that worth a stat? Man. Is that worth a dark horse?
Well, West Coast bias, they probably wouldn't give that to him. But
they don't stay up late to watch the games.
I think though that you take the over. I really do. I think you're looking at a 8-win team and a player in the South. I mean, some of these games are 50-50 games.
I look to the UCLA to win the division at 6-1, and I'm definitely intrigued by that. I'd love to make a bet on Chip Kelly in his 4th year in a program where he's been recruiting. It felt like they were close, Sean. I think you touched on it. All 4 losses, 6 points or less. It does feel like the schedule is the only reason to not think they're going to fly over. And then when you kind of dive into that schedule, I mean, we discussed this, right? Like having LSU early, coming off a game, probably going to be an advantage. Who knows what LSU is going to be this year? Certainly will have a talent edge, but UCLA should be more prepared than the bye, then a win against Fresno, a Stanford team that is going to be could be a disaster. I'm lower than you guys, obviously, but then having Arizona on the road, think they're going to be a dumpster fire, and just they're going to shock someone. Maybe you circle that Oregon game that for some reason, who makes Oregon your homecoming? Like that just seems like a kind
Playing
of
with fire.
You have the at Arizona, at Washington, Oregon, at Utah stretch, and I think for them, if they can go 2-2 here, I think this is an absolute lock to go over. So.
Yeah, I like the over, man, and I think there's a decent shot.
They beat USC. They have the potential to play a number of teams that could be either in free fall or completely out on their season.
And more importantly, we will be doing a live tailgate from UCLA. That's Saturday, September 4th. So if you're in the area, going to the game, head out to the Rose Bowl, crack open some cold ones.
Any chance that you get as drunk as so you slur your speech like Coach O? How much whiskey would it take, Sean? How much whiskey would it take to get you to sound like that? We got to.
If I start yelling "We Tigers" at the game, then I've gotten too drunk because I like supporting UCLA.
UCLA catching 4.
Really?
Catching 4 at home.
All right. Dog. Got some more Pac-12 win totals coming up. Just want to give a quick shout out to Cuts Clothing. I'm going to say it, cut above, man. Getting a lot of compliments on my Cuts Clothing. Maybe I'll rock one of these Cuts shirts to the UCLA game. Feeling fresh again. Cuts, they're celebrating a month-long anniversary for their 5 years of creating clothing that can be dressed up or down for anything. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. And again, I mean, Cuts, I love it. Multi-purpose, much like a Wildcat quarterback. Can run, can throw. Cuts is premium with a purpose. Each piece is crafted with custom engineered fabric and a comfortable fit without compromising on timeless, universally flattering styles. And again, I mean, signature buttery soft Pika Pro Tri blend tees. Again, all you got to know about the t-shirts, buttery soft. Yes. Cuts t-shirts. Dog. They are officially a dog. Head over to cutsclothing.com/SGP, cutsclothing.com/SGP for 15% off. Don't waste your life in the mall. Just head over to cutsclothing.com, grab you some new gear. What do we got coming up? We got Arizona State 8.5 -115 on the over, -105 on the under, +240 to win the division, 5-1 to win the conference, 18-1 to make the college football playoff, -6,000 to miss. That feels like a safe bet. 100-1 to win it all. Colby, obviously the big news: Herm Edwards program dealing with some possible sanctions. I'm still unclear what happened. It seemed like they got in trouble for breaking some protocols when it comes to
some
COVID.
Recruits in through a secret door, you know what I mean? While there was COVID going on,
little backdoor cut.
But no one else in college football was doing that.
No,
Sean, right?
2 more assistant coaches have been put on leave. So much like COVID, kind of spreading here as far as who's going to get in trouble. But they're bringing back 20 starters, and of course Herm Edwards, 17-13 as a head coach at Arizona State. Oh man, where you at? 8.5 feels like hair high with them dealing with all this drama.
It was at 9 earlier in the year, went down to 8.5 after that scandal broke. But I'm on the under. They haven't shown me enough year in, year out. Arizona State always extremely talented, but at the same time, just they need to show me it. You know what I mean? Like they need to show me that they're on this level that everyone's speaking about. Because yes, you beat Arizona by 63 points last year, but some of the other games, the performances were not the same, and
not everyone got to play Arizona last year.
You can't count that though. Like that game was.
Well, to me, like I look at it and okay, 3-0 at a conference potentially. The at BYU game you could lose. I'll even give you Colorado right now. That's 4, Stanford 5, Wazoo 6, Arizona 7. I think they lose those road games. They need 2 more wins here, and that's with me giving them BYU, Colorado, Stanford, and Wazoo, which I think are all tough games. So no, I'm on the under, and I love it as a play.
And I guess one of the paths for Arizona to get over is that Arizona State turns into a dumpster fire, and that game at the end of the season means a little bit more to the crescendoing program with Gronk and the company down in the Zona Zoo.
Yeah, 100%. And like once again, I get it. You're bringing back 4 or 5 starters. I get it. You have, but what about maybe like they've lost? You think they're concerned
you're insane
about this?
if you take the over.
Yeah, I mean, Jayden Daniels needs to be more. He needs to be a better passer.
He's fun, and you could certainly take the under and then hedge with a Jayden Daniels Heisman Trophy. Maybe he really puts it all together and comes out of nowhere. But
I mean, is there a team that I'd love to, hop on the local side and take UNLV as a massive dog while we're out in Vegas, NFL Week 1?
I don't know about that one. They were horrible last year, but
I don't perhaps everyone's like, oh yeah, this program's a disaster, so it's a good bet to go the over. I just think you're crazy to take it because you can't bet on these teams where the things can drastically change between now and week 7, whenever their bye week is. And it might be a completely different situation.
Well, yeah, and who knows? I mean, right now it's just assistant coaches getting sat down. But who knows? What if Herm has to take a couple days, to deals with a suspension?
And there's still a team that went 1-2 last year. I know they were depleted by COVID, but okay, you go back to 19, they went 2-2, ugly.
Right?
You know what I mean?
2-2 I got.
2-2. Sorry. But my point is that they win ugly. Are they that much better than these teams? I think they're going to be in a lot of 50-50 games. So I think you definitely ride the under. I think it's a lock.
And yeah, specifically, it is strange to me that they're 1.5 wins better than UCLA, for example.
Yeah. I don't get it, man.
Way too much. Too crazy. Utah, the Utes. Sitting at 8.5 on the win total, -120 on the over, +100 on the other under, +230 to win the division, +500 to win the conference, 22-1 to make the college football playoff. The Utes, bringing over Charlie Brewer from Baylor,
from the college football tournament fame.
Yeah.
Yes,
and not only bringing him back, but he's one of the not of the 19 returning starters, and according to Phil Steele, #1 in O-line and D-line in the Pac-12. Again, obviously secret elevation as well. I'm leaning over here on the Utes. Colby, are you with me?
Every year this is a lock. Utah, he's one of the best. Whittingham's one of the best coaches in America. His teams are always well taught special teams. They get after the quarterback. They're physical. And
did he was the guy after Urban Meyer?
Yeah, he's been there 17 years. Been there 17 years. You look at the schedule. I don't understand. Yes, at USC potentially is the one for sure loss just because they've had trouble. But they even get a bye week before that game. Every other game is winnable to me, and I would even say that USC game wouldn't shock me with that extra week off.
Clay Helton,
yeah, wouldn't shock me at all if they beat him. So I love the spot. I understand they have 2 sets of back-to-back away games, but I still think they're manageable.
Yeah, I mean, this is a stone cold lock. Utah. I mean, maybe we're higher on Brewer than some other people because what we saw him do in the sim world, but he's a better passing quarterback than Utah. He's
definitely an upgrade. Right?
Has had in some time.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's going to play defense. You mentioned the offensive. It's not just that they're a good offensive line. The entire offensive line is returning.
Running back field is loaded.
Now will Utah stub their toe along the way and probably at USC? Yeah. Am I a little worried about that? At USC, Arizona State, at Oregon State, with Oregon State coming off a bye as being a portion of the schedule where they can really screw things up. Yes, but they have to smell blood. They have to smell blood and realize there's no reason they couldn't even. I mean, I know it's probably a hot take to say that a Pac-12 team is going to make the playoff, but at some point,
invitational.
Sorry, the invitation. At some point, do I think Utah has as good a chance as anyone to win the Pac-12? Yes. For that reason, should I take them to make the college football playoff at 22-1?
Yeah, I mean, if they win the conference, you figure they probably got to be 10-2, at least maybe 11-1, and then if they beat, let's say, an Oregon or a Washington, that's going to look pretty good on the resume. And it just seems like there's a pretty massive difference from them winning the conference at 5-1 to them getting into the college football playoff at 22-1. That feels that is a juicy, tasty dog.
And if you look at throw the COVID year out because they only played a few games, but go back the past 6 years, every year but one they would have got over that win total.
It just seems like they're gonna, like, you look at their home schedule, hard to find a game they draw. I mean, Oregon's the game, but I don't think
I would favor Utah though. Maybe even. I don't know, but I would.
And then you look at their road slate; they get, like you said, back-to-back road, but at Arizona, at Stanford, there's nothing scary there.
And even at BYU, I mean, at BYU's a tough spot, but at San Diego State, I know Sean thinks Dignity Health Sports Park is a really tough
I don't know
place,
where you find 4 losses.
You don't just walk into Dignity Health Sports Park.
I don't know where you find the 4 losses on this one.
Yeah, I'm all over Utah this year. In the closing it out, the Pac-12 South, USC 8.5 -120 on the over, +100 on the under. A +180 to win the division, 4-1 to win the conference, 10-1 to make the college football playoff, -2,500 to miss the college football playoff, 40-1 to win it all. Again, I mean, you want to talk net regression? 3.5 net close wins, danger sign for USC.
Luckiest team in the nation last year.
They really pulled some shit out of their ass. They do have defensive end Drake Jackson, who, just watching some of his highlights, that guy's going to be playing on Sundays. All
they have
8
talent for
all
sure.
8 positions rank in the top units on Phil Steele's helpful guide there. All that being said, I mean, again, I love fading USC. They're not a team that can exceed expectations, and the expectations feel too high for this team. If they were coming in at like 6.5, 7, and you know they weren't kind of expected to win the Pac-12 South, then maybe I'm hopping on USC. But at this price, give me the under. Colby, where you at? You seem like a guy who's going to fade USC.
Well, I mean, that number dropped. I was all over that before, but now it's at a tough spot because yes, do I believe like this could be a dumpster fire?
Yeah, Clay Helton. Check.
I mean, if they get upset by San Jose State or Stanford, there's no saying that they won't fire him. Then they left Lane Kiffin on a runway. You know what I mean?
They said find your own way home.
So I mean, there's potential for a dumpster fire.
They don't get
season.
Oregon or Washington.
But that's what I'm saying. No back-to-back or one back-to-back away stretch.
But it's Arizona State and Cal.
They have a favorable schedule the way it breaks. It's a tough schedule still, in my opinion. But man, I just feel like Clay Helton is going to do traditional Clay Helton and find a way to win 9 games.
I was going to say, don't they go 9-3? Clay Helton keeps their job and they stay down this middling path.
Yes,
I find it. So they lose.
They don't play Washington or Oregon.
All right. So if you look at the schedule, very hard to find a. So I mean, it's going to be potentially good for Utah and that make the playoff bet. They could be undefeated coming into that Utah game. Loss against Utah. They go into the bye week at Notre Dame,
but they normally beat Utah in the Coliseum.
A loss at Notre Dame, and then they drop Arizona State or UCLA, and that's only 3. So I'm just saying, like, I'm being aggressive. It feels
maybe Cal
feels hard. You know, maybe Chip Kelly. I think it's hard to find 4 losses on the schedule. So I'm gonna go over with you, Colby.
And they did him a favor. The Pac-12, you can tell Larry Scott finally learned at the end of his reign there that the 2 cold places they would play in Pullman and in Boulder, they have to go there the first month of the season, so they're not even going to be cold.
Clay Helton he's not a good coach. And going 9-3 with the roster he has is not a good result. So
9-3. Give me the over. I don't like this play at all. Though,
as far as an against the spread team to fade, we're gonna love them probably, especially when they're laying big numbers.
They are running back U guys. Like they were one of the original running back U's. What are they doing? They were 120th out of 127th rushing. You don't need to do the air raid at USC.
They're ruining football.
You don't need to do that though. That's what I'm saying. Like they have an identity crisis going on right now. They don't need to try to out scheme teams. They have the talent to beat the teams in the Pac-12.
It makes sense when Coach Leach has the air raid because they're at the time Washington State, they don't get all these top recruits, so they need an advantage. But if you're USC, you're getting the best.
Give me all of San Jose State +16.
That's what I'm saying. That's a dangerous game, man. That's a dangerous dude. And then they would fire him. This is why I hate this play. I don't advise my clients to play this one because this is a dangerous situation. If he gets fired, Graham Harrell comes in. I don't know. He's like our age. So it's like, will the team even listen to the guy? There's a potential for a dumpster fire here. I don't know what to expect.
I think
gun to my head, give me the over.
But a guy like Clay Helton, they've been looking for a reason, and for some reason that the boosters like him or whatever. if that happens,
I don't even think they like him. That his contract's what they
the positive. Like, there's no way the players love. Like, that would be excited if Graham Harrell took over as the interim coach.
Well,
like,
I think
that
they
would be a
do
bump
that.
to me. That would be a bump.
I just don't think the air raid at USC is necessary, and I think it hurts.
It doesn't matter
more
just,
than it helps.
Just from
them.
like a motivational angle.
Yeah.
Like, this team isn't motivated because Clay Helton is not a good motivator. That's the problem with this team.
Perhaps.
Kramer, let's talk Paramount Plus.
The summer of soccer continues on Paramount Plus. Stream over 2,000 soccer matches a year from around the world. That's all the heart-pounding drama from CBS Sports, including UEFA Champions League, Europa League, Italy's Serie A, Argentina's Primera División, the Brasileiro, the NWSL, the Asian Football Confederation, and the CONCACAF qualifiers featuring the stars from the U.S. and Mexican men's national teams, plus much more. It's the best of the beautiful game with all the beautiful names like Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Rapinoe, and Pulisic. Be part of the excitement as champions are crowned and history is made. The world's game lives here on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com to start your free trial and stream every match live.
We're also brought to you by Prop Swap, America's #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. Football season is here. And again, the cool thing about Prop Swap is you don't need to win your bet. You just need the odds to improve. For example, last year, Mac Jones 25-1 to win the Heisman Trophy. Then by November, he became the favorite. Prop Swap customer who bet $100 on Mac before the season sold the ticket on Prop Swap for $1,000. That's right. This guy made $900 on a losing ticket. That's right. That's what's cool about Prop Swap. Mac Jones didn't win the Heisman Trophy, as we all know. But again, it's like a stock market: buy low, sell high. And when you're making your bets, go for two. Get two tickets so you can sell one and keep the other one for a little action. Get started today by heading over to PropSwap.com and download the PropSwap app. PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets. Oregon State, the basement dwellers in the North, according to the win totals, at 5 plus 105 on the over, minus 125 on the under. 20-1 to win the division, 45-1 to win the conference, 500-1 to win the college football playoff, aka the national championship.
That's a hell of a price.
Well, it's a very small sample size, but Oregon State 2 close losses, 6-point and a 3-point.
Oh, they got robbed in that Washington game. Absolutely robbed.
In the entire QB unit returns. That's helpful. I think it's one of their most experienced quarterback rooms in a long time for Oregon State. Jermar Jefferson moved on to the NFL, so that's a little tough break for him. But Colby, what do you think of the Beavers this year?
I think Jonathan Smith's a great coach, and I think he inherited a mess. It took him some time. I thought last year they passed the eye test, but the results just didn't stack up. I think this year they go bowling for the first time. I like the over. I think they're a team that could really be a thorn in the side of some of these teams. Going to Corvallis is a tough place to win. So when you look at a Stanford or Arizona State or Utah coming, I think they have a decent shot to win those games. Even Washington, like I said, they should have beat Washington last year. It was an absolutely horrible call. They should have won that game down the stretch. So I think yes, that Purdue game is a big one on September 4th, which is a weird game. I think it's a 50-50 game. I'd give a slight edge to Purdue, I guess, because it's cross country. But I think if you look and say 5 wins, I think they could win that Purdue game. I think they can beat Hawaii and Idaho. Once again, I just hit on the fact that they played Washington really tough. Probably should have won that game. And then at Wazoo, I think that doesn't phase them as much because yes, it's a tough place to play, but they're up in that area. So and then when you add in the home games against Utah, they beat Cal at Cal last year. At Colorado, it's a winnable game. I think they'll get Stanford and Arizona State in Corvallis. Yes, I think they lose at Oregon at the end, but I think there's enough for them to go bowling.
6 wins is a lot of wins for this team to get. It's just if they lose at Purdue, it's over. Like to me, this is another one of these win totals where if they don't get that, if they lose to Purdue and they beat Hawaii, they beat Idaho, they at USC, that's tough. Washington's gonna be tough at Washington State.
I think they get one of those 3.
And then you have Utah. It's just they catch too many tough home games. And for a team like that, maybe so out of Washington, Utah, and Arizona State and Stanford, can they get 1 win?
I think they could go 4-0. I think they could go, I'm telling you, I think they're probably going to be 3-1 if I had to bet. but I think that's a live place. It's a dangerous place to play.
Yeah,
and then the fact that I think this is his best team he's had there. Yes, they got to get better stopping the run.
I can't get to 6. Like there's just I can get to like 4.
I'm with you, Kramer. I'm on the under.
It's gonna push. We're gonna push this one.
Colby made a great case, but for me, it's just I'm higher on some of these other teams in the Pac-12 North that I think are going to. I just don't think they get to 6. It's more just finding a balance in some of these overall win totals. Like it can't take the over on all the teams.
Look at this. They beat Cal last year and Oregon.
Well, hold on.
Right?
Where are they favored? Hawaii and Idaho. Where else?
I think that at home against Stanford they'll be favored.
Okay.
I think
so 3 games.
Arizona State.
What?
I think they could be, dude.
By the end
last
of the
time
year,
Arizona State played at Corvallis when they were bad, they lost.
Okay, so even in that scenario, that's only 4 games. So they still have to overcome.
I think they can beat Purdue. I think it's a true 50-50 game. I give a slight coaching edge to Oregon State.
I like Beaver as well. I wanted to take the over here, but Colby, I'm going under.
But look at those scores from a season ago. They were in every game they played, man. So that my point is like the basement of the Pac-12 North specifically is not what it used to be. It's much higher. These games that we're all penciling in as wins, automatic wins for Oregon and Washington, I think every week they're going to be tricky.
All right.
Wazoo, our Cougars win total sitting at 6, over +100, under -120, 16-1 to win the division, 35-1 to win the conference, 250-1 to win the championship. They are a +5.5 on Phil Steele's stock market. It's kind of like a combination of the some of his advanced metrics there, which means 86% chance of a same record or better. Obviously, this is a weird season, whatever, comparing it to last year, but still reason to get high on them. And again, Rolovich and the Cougs fit the year 2 narrative. They had some leads they blew. Jayden De Laura, he missed some time. I think in the spring.
He was at the Coug. He got caught at the Coug on the way home.
Guy was cracking some cold ones.
Yeah.
Jayden, he's a dog. But you gotta call Lyft or Uber next time. Got into a little hot water, but now he's back in camp.
COVID. It was COVID, man.
Was it?
He had no options.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm saying like, what are you gonna do?
That's true. They should give you a break on COVID DUIs. Shouldn't count. They should only count for half. I mean, come on. What's the guy supposed to do? That was probably before they realized you could just roll the window down. I like Jayden De Laura. I like Coach Rolovich. I like that. The way they structured that stadium to give that noisy end zone there. I think things will be rocking at the Coug. 6 is right.
Go Cougs.
Is right where it should be at. I'm gonna
feels like a push.
I'm gonna shade on the optimistic side. I'm gonna say they go 7-5. Colby, you riding Cougs with me?
I think they did get that number right, man. But I think if I had to lean, I lean under.
You have to.
Yeah,
it's part of the program. All right, I'm gonna text Rolovich now and let him know.
Look, he wasn't at Pac-12 Media Day. You wonder what the locker room presents there. I love, I'm a big Rolovich.
He's not getting vaccinated, which does that create some issues in the locker room, or maybe he has to not call plays for a game if he's a close contact. Who knows?
He's a good coach. He's a really underrated coach, and I feel like they're probably going to go 6-6. But I think you look at this. I don't know. Another thing is who's starting at quarterback. If they go with Guantanamo Bay, I don't trust that at all.
I still think De Laura gets it, but we'll see. Maybe they don't want to.
It's just that Stanford, BYU, Oregon State stretch. Now that's 3 weeks in a row where they could win all 3 of those, but they also could lose any of those. I just think if I had to side, I think 6-6, but if I had to side, I'm about 60-40 on them going 5-7 as opposed to going 7-5.
Really?
Yeah.
It is easier to see them fuck up. You're kind of talking me into this because when you look at the schedule, it's like boom, Utah State, Portland State, Oregon State, Stanford, BYU, Arizona. There's my 6 wins right there. But when you start to say like, okay, well, where's the 7th one coming from? Are they really going to go on the road and win a game?
And you're giving them all those 50-50 games.
Well, I also think they probably screw one of those games up.
Definitely. I would tend to think so. Yeah.
Now I've kind of talked my way all the way around where I think this probably ends up as a push, but I'm with Colby. I think the smart money leans.
Take that Coug shirt off for now, Ryan. How dare you?
I think they go.
I hope I'm wrong. I love Wazoo.
They make a bowl game.
Wow. Two just haters.
It's just
why don't you guys just put your Husky gear on now?
I like.
Are you guys like sailgating?
I like plus EV stuff.
Also, if anyone, if there's any Washington fans that have a sailgating setup, please invite us. Definitely make a trip to get drunk on a sailboat. Moving over to Stanford, the Cardinal. Stanford, is it Cardinals?
No, it's the color.
Yeah, that's what I was like. What the? It's so weird that it's singular.
It's a smart person thing.
Win total sitting at 4, -120 on the over, +100 on the under. 16-1 like Wazoo to win the division, 30-1 to win the conference. Kind of interesting the pricing difference there.
Hit that lock sound effect, Sean.
Here's a little nugget from our buddy Steele. For the last 5 times they've hosted Oregon and Washington, they've won a share of the Pac-12 title.
Whoa.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but that certainly is
the hardest football schedule I've ever seen.
Yeah. And
I'm serious.
Don't just gloss over that. He said ever seen.
For college football, dude, you never see 12 Power 5s. Think about this. Let alone they have 2 sets of back-to-back aways, right? 2 different sets, but they open up the season 3 weeks on the road. Yes, I know that Kansas State game got moved to Jerry's World. Doesn't matter that Stanford fans don't travel. K-State fans do. That is a brutal 3-week stretch.
Well, and they're also they had 4. They won 4 in a row to close out last year. So you think
all on the road, though.
All on the road, but a combined 10 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they were real 1, 3, 5, 1 is the margin of victory. So they were pulling some stuff. Out of their ass.
Look at that though. They go 3 weeks on the road to start the season, all across the country, right? Then they come home to UCLA and Oregon, who we're kind of high on. I feel like the college football world is.
Where's 5? You
right?
get 5.
Then they have the desert back to back. The hot desert, then the cold desert of at Arizona State, then at Washington State.
You know what? You're making great points, Colby, but I'm taking over on the Cardinals.
Whoa.
I think they're getting back to their old roots.
No, hold on.
Pounding the rock, 2 and 3 tight end sets.
I'm gonna take it too. Just that it's at 4.
What?
It's because it's 4.
Timeout. We're doing this now. Kansas State at USC at Vanderbilt, UCLA.
1 and 3.
Best 1 and 3.
Maybe
okay.
2 and 2. That K-State game's winnable.
Oregon at Arizona State at Washington State by Washington.
1 and
3.
Yeah.
Utah.
But they've had Washington's number though.
At Oregon State, California, Notre Dame.
3 and 1. Let's go.
I'm just pointing out the obvious.
I know. When you actually walk through it, it's hard. Insane.
But here's my logic here is like they had a really tough schedule in 19 that was almost as tough as this, if not tougher, and they ended up winning 4 games. Then Shaw doesn't normally. He's a good coach, so he doesn't normally like completely hit rock bottom. I think he finds a way to win 5, or you push.
I think Stanford's having meetings about not like canceling.
What are they
football.
doing with their scheduling though? This is ridiculous.
They're trying to show you how hard they don't want to have a good program, so they can cancel it. That's what they're doing.
Gotta be.
They're on the wrong side of the war.
I mean, they
football.
have a talented quarterback. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they got some winning to do. These are that's the worst schedule.
I saw that if you look over the last 10 years, Stanford has the best record in the Pac-12, and it's kind of crazy to think about that now because this team could be a 2-win team.
This schedule's crazy. You give Oklahoma this schedule, they would have several losses. You know what I mean? Like
this is getting the toughest schedule I've ever seen.
Dude, that's ridiculous. You don't play a home. You 3 away games.
That's the quote.
I mean, you're playing what? How many away games in general?
And 3 of their home games are against Oregon, Washington, and Utah,
and Notre Dame.
Sprinkle in Notre Dame. Jesus,
it's fucking eggheads.
Yeah, what are they doing?
All right, Cal. Their win totals all the way up to 6.5, +125 on the over, -145 on the under, 14-1 then win the division, 25-1 to win the conference. Got a solid defense. They got the super senior quarterback Chase Garbers, 8-3 in his last 11. Last year, offensive line had a ton of COVID and injury issues. Bunch of returning production on offense and defense. Colby, where you at with Cal?
I like the over, and I like it pretty decently.
Really?
Big fan of Justin Wilcox. I think he's a really underrated football coach. And when you get to it, like they are returning all that. And you look at last year, special teams cost them a couple games, missed extra point against Stanford. And I just think they're a lot better than what, I mean, first off, trying to practice in Berkeley when it must have had its own challenges too. But then in
all
general,
those bongos. Stop football now.
Yes.
What do we want?
Yes.
No football. When do we want it now? What do we want? No football.
Yeah, look, they beat Oregon. Wilcox is a really good coach. Yes, they need to get more explosive. They were very lackluster on offense. A lot of that I think has to do with breaking in a new OC during COVID. I think they're bound to be a lot better offensively this year. Yes, they got to find a way to create more big plays. But you look at it, I understand Nevada is a good mid-major. It's a tough game out the gate. At TCU,
that's tough.
We would favor TCU, but it's still a winnable game. Wouldn't shock me if Wilcox won that.
They're not winning that
Sacramento
game.
State, that should be a win. And then you look, they've beaten Washington, I think 2 or 3 times in a row.
They're not beating Washington.
Not this year.
I think they could. And then Washington State, that's a winnable game.
Yes.
They get a bye week before Oregon. I like that. Colorado, Oregon State, and Arizona coming in a row. Yep. I think that's 3 winnable games. And then I think they get Stanford this year, potentially.
Well, they get Stanford. I mean, they definitely play Stanford.
They lost to them last year is my point.
I mean, again, I have to take, someone's got to win some games. And I'm with Colby here.
Kramer 3 unders in a row.
3 unders in a row. I mean, again, this is just the classic extra. Even with the TCU loss, to me, it's fairly easy to get to 7 wins. I think they have some winnable road games. You didn't even mention at Arizona. So winnable road games, combined with a lot of very winnable home games. Again, 7 seems much more likely than 6 for this team.
They'll beat someone you're not expecting. This is my point on the floor being higher. Is like how they have beaten Washington 2 or 3 times in a row. They're gonna they beat Oregon last year. They almost beat them the year before when they had their start. When Garbers was injured. They're gonna beat someone. They're a tough physical football team that can give you problems. They're fundamentally sound. I think they're gonna get some teams that you're not.
Well, and honestly, like this is the kind of game that USC loses under Clay Helton.
I totally could see them losing that in Berkeley.
So, yeah, let's go over. What are you doing, Sean?
I'm going under just to be the contrarian. My buddy Phil Steele, not super high on him. He's got him second to last in the North, and it's more. I'm just a little higher on Stanford and Wazoo than you guys, and so I think that's kind of what eats into their wins. They feel like a 500 team.
They could totally end up in that spot. I just think that this conference, especially this division, is going to beat up on each other.
Yeah, well, and yeah, again, that's why I'm kind of going. I got the Stanford Washington State over. I'm just going under more so to balance it out. Washington, the Huskies, our hated rivals, sitting at 8.5, -130 on the over, +110 on the under, +130 to win the division, +350 to win the conference, 10-1 to make the college football playoffs, 80-1 to win it all. Colby, Huskies. I know again, our buddy Phil all over the Huskies. Number 1 surprise team for him this year. They do fit my second year head coach narrative, which I've been leaning into. They are bringing back 18 starters. Did they shoot their wad last year by winning the Pac-12 North? And of course, they didn't end up playing
ridiculous
because of COVID or whatever.
No, because the Pac-12 wanted Oregon in there, right?
Yeah, some sort of weird maneuvering.
Totally wasn't a fixed job.
It does seem like, as much as they are my hated rival, it's hard not to be high on the Huskies this year.
This is insane. I mean, this is one of the most insane win totals I've ever seen. I'm.
Are you just trying to copy Colby and come up with a super hot take?
No.
Try it again, Ryan. They're
5-0. They're going to be 5. Where are they dogs? What game are they not favored in?
Okay.
What game are they not favored in?
Well, I don't. I'm going to take the over, but I do think
they played 12 games. They're going to be favored in every single one.
They're going to go 9-3.
Maybe not Michigan.
Yeah,
is Michigan favored by
Michigan's
a point?
favored right now. I think.
Guys, we're going to be in Vegas September 11th, night game.
I'll ask Sean.
Washington heads to Michigan.
Sean,
all over.
If you had a team that plays 12 games and they're not going to be they're going to be favored in every single game, and they only need to win 9 of them for you to cash the bet.
Yeah, I think they go 10-2. So I'm with you. I'm all over the over.
You want a hot take for you? Washington will lose either September 25th or October 2nd. That's
September
against Cal. or at Oregon State. They're going to lose one of those two. Mark my words.
I think you
flamethrower over here from the database.
But I still got them at 9-3, so I'm on the over. They do have a nice schedule.
I do love Colby's predictions that are a half point off the win total, so it allows him to take the team, but then also shit on them at the same time. It's
look at their away
game
games.
recognizes game, Colby.
They don't play Utah. They don't play USC. The schedule is nice. They have the best defense in the conference, probably by a little bit there. They're going to be probably undefeated at home. I like them. They catch Oregon at home, so another advantage in the schedule. And then when you look at Colorado, at Stanford, at Arizona, at Oregon State, at Michigan, like very real. I know they're not going to go 5-0 there.
Yeah, I mean, I lost the last time.
Hard for me to see them going worse than 3-2. So to me, this is such a lock, such a lock. Plus 130 to win the conference. Why is everyone so high on Oregon? That Nike money, huh?
I'm on the over, dude. Don't try to. I got them 9-3.
Let's go to Oregon. Win total sitting at 9, -115 on the over, -105 on the under, -105 to win the division, plus 260 to win the conference, 650 to make the college football playoff. For that 40-1 to win it all. Oregon, man. Everyone's super high on Oregon. -14 turnover differential. That is a good sign for them, but tough road games at Ohio State, at Stanford, at Washington, at Utah,
at UCLA.
You guys want to pool like 120K and bet them not to make the playoff?
Definitely.
I mean, that feels.
Are you all right? So they play their hardest conference opponents on the road, like you mentioned, at Washington, at Utah. They also play Ohio State week 2 on the road. No, granted that could be that new quarterback and all.
But Oregon, they're not returning their starter, right? They lost
Tyler Shuck.
He ran away from
Tyler
a competition.
Shuck is pronounced, but
Shouga.
Yeah, it's Shuck.
Like Shuck. The
trust
corn.
me. I've you know how many people have shit on me for saying show. But no, I mean, I think the under's the play, man. At Ohio State, I think Ohio State's going to roll them personally.
Is Brown the starter for sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe Moorhead, though. I mean, you can make a case. Kayvon Thibodeau is the best defensive player in the country.
Well, all you got to do is find three losses on this schedule.
I mean, UCLA should have beat him in Eugene last year. Had Dorian Thompson-Robinson and 7 others not gotten COVID. Even with that, the backup quarterback, a guy drops a pass that would have gave him the win. I think they lose at Washington, at Utah. So I'm on the under. Man.
Between these games, you can find 3 losses at Ohio State, at Stanford, at UCLA, at Washington, at Utah. I mean, Jesus.
And then you have the Civil War. They could lose that.
We're not worried of Stony Brook.
Stony Brook, I think they'll pull out. And Fresno State. You can lock those up.
Yeah, I'm on the under. Give me the
all
under.
over the money line on Oregon versus Fresno State.
Yeah, it's just hard because they got to go 10-2 to hit the over, and it's too easy to find.
It's too easy to find 3 losses, and maybe that's where they end up. But if you can find 3 losses pretty easily, I don't see how you take the over here, and you're getting the better juice on the under. So, what more needs to be said? Let's close it out strong with some lock dog.
Lock dog.
Brought to you, of course, by Underdog Fantasy. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code SGPN for a free $25 entry to using Best Ball Mania 2, Best Ball Draft, Fantasy Football. Your chance to win $1 million. Let's fucking go. Cash some big fantasy football bets. Kramer, you have the honors.
Lock over Washington.
Ooh, all right.
You like that one? Can I go 2 from the same division? Is actually no? Lock under Arizona State. Just betting on the gasoline to be ignited at some point this season.
What do you got for the dog?
And for the dog, I mentioned it earlier. I think I think the top of the division in the North is a little bit classier than in the South, and so for that reason, should we take a stab at I feel like you could take a stab at UCLA. You could take a stab at. I do like Utah this year. Maybe that's the play. Utah wins the conference 5-1. I threw out the 22-1, then make the playoff. I certainly think why not? But you do have to root for the Pac-12 to like win games collectively and not triple bunch. But like you probably need USC to go 9-3. Probably need Oregon 10-2. You need a lot of overs at the top of the conference. But yeah, Utah to win the conference seems like a fun bet.
But by the way, I was on the over in USC. Someone get. All right, was incorrect in that.
Well, this scorekeeper.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to update it. I mean, the audience can't see the live spreadsheet as much as they appreciate hearing the live corrections on air. All right, what do we got here? Lock. That was also directed at Ryan, who does that as well. Lock. Give me. It's hard not to take Ryan's over on Washington.
I can tell you, there's another one in that division I really like. Those nerds in Stanford to go under.
Nah, I'm against that. You know what? I gave it out before. Give me again. Wazoo over 6. Let's go. Call me a homer. In the other in the Pac-12 South. Yeah, let's go. Let's go Utah over 8.5. I think they're gonna have a solid team. And for my dog, why don't we say Washington makes the college football playoff at 10-1 plus 1,000. That's not a dog. This is a dog. Colby, what do you got?
They could. That's interesting.
I mean, if they knock out, obviously they'll have to beat Oregon.
They have to bend over Harbaugh and just tear the pants. You know what I mean?
If they go 11-1 and win the Pac-12,
no, they have to go undefeated.
You think they have to go undefeated?
Yeah.
It depends on everything.
West Coast bias.
No. The Pac-12 winner would have to go undefeated unless there is a complete melee elsewhere.
I'm on where are we going here? Cal over 6.5 is my lock in the North. For the South, Arizona State under 8.5.
Colby got sad. What happened, Colby?
No, I'm happy, man. It's just we
quiet.
still got like a couple weeks for football, guys.
Colby keeps walking around the office and goes, I can't do it. This is the dog days of summer. There's no college football. The other day, I was saying, you know what? Summer's almost done. I look up, there's 2.5 weeks left.
It's a lot of time.
Colby is just like the guy in prison who's just like scribbling the days and just counting it down.
The real reason is he's almost done previewing.
He doesn't know how he's going to fill his day.
What am I supposed to do, guys?
Is it, anyone want to do it 2.0 with
yes,
Colby?
I welcome it. And here's the play, man. You want to have fun? You guys want to have some fun?
Give me a Colorado bet.
Have some fun. Cal plus 1,400 to win the North.
Ooh, okay, that's spicy.
That's pretty spicy. And I will say, the fact that Stanford is 16-1 and Washington State is 16-1, compare that seems like good value you've extracted from the marketplace, Colby. Well done.
And look, UCLA is plus 600. You got opportunities out here.
Yeah, I know.
That's just to win the South, not to win the Pac-12.
It does seem like Chip Kelly and this team. There's no reason.
Yeah, 6-1 on UCLA is kind of interesting.
I'm intrigued.
Color us intrigued. All right, man. Make sure you check out all our other college football conference previews, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, all there ready to download. Of course, check out the College Experience with Colby Dant and Patty C, previewing all 130 FBS college football teams. Not caring at all about the FCS. I told Colby he should show the FCS some love. He was completely against it. Check that out. No. Of course, download the app, subscribe to the podcast, become a team player, join our Slack channel, some preseason DFS and gambling action going on for the National Football League.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
What's the opposite of fight on, Colby?
Fight with.
Yeah, there you go. That.
Kramer, let it ride.